Hey YouTube, it's Grace and welcome to episode 28 of my series where I take every single painting from Minecraft and I make them in real life. And this week we're doing the pig or the girl holding the pig painting. The website where I find the names for all of these didn't have a name listed for this one, so I am sorry, but I'm not sure what it's technically called. This painting took me a bit longer than the other ones because it is 64 by 64 pixels and the other ones, the biggest one has been 32 by 32, but I finished it and I'm proud of myself. And don't forget that over on my Etsy I have tutorials and guides that you can download for every single one of the paintings I've made in this series so far. Absolutely no pressure to buy anything if you can't, but if watching videos isn't enough for you and you want to try this for yourself but you need something a bit more detailed and structured, then those are there. I have my Etsy linked in my bio. But without further ado, let's get into it. This is the next painting I'm going to be making for this series, which is 64 by 64 pixels, and I'm going to be making it on this 20 by 20 inch canvas. To figure out the size of each pixel, I take that 20 inches and divide it by 64 pixels and get 0.3125, which sounds really technical, but anyways, that is how many inches each pixel will be. Okay, well 64 times 64 is 4096, so that is how many tiny little squares you're looking at. The next step is going to be adding a thin layer of white paint to seal in this pencil and keep it from smearing or mixing with the other paints later on. And now for the fun part of waiting for this to dry. This has been drying for about a day now, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in the border. I'm going to be using this medium brown color. And once this is dry, then I can start on the actual design. The first thing I'm going to do for this design is the black in the background, and I mixed it actually with black and a little bit of gray. I feel like if you just use straight black, it looks too flat on the painting. So I just lightened it slightly, and I'm going to go ahead and fill all of this out. And here it is after adding the black. I'm going to wait for this to dry before I add anything else because I don't want to get paint on my hand and I don't want to mix the black with anything by accident. Okay, it's the next day and I finished filling in all of the black pixels, so next I'm moving on to white. And as you can see, I'm going to do the same thing as the black and not use a straight white. I'm mixing it with a tiny bit of dark titanium white, and the point of this is just to give it a little bit more dimension. So I just filled in the white and then also like a beige color. I think I'm gonna work on the pig face next, which I need a few different shades of pink. So I am like a mixing palette right now. I have a whole bunch of different shades of everything and I'm just gonna do my best. The next portion I'm going to work on is these super dark reds here. You can see they sort of outline her face as well. And starting off, I just mixed this and I used permanent red, violet, and permanent black. Alright, it's the next day and I filled in the second darkest kind of red color. And next I'm going to work on the third darkest, which I just took this color and mixed it lighter by adding a whole bunch of this color. The next color I'm filling in is this orangish one, so we're getting pretty close to filling in the rest of the face. Okay, I got a little distracted, so it's the next day now, but I'm gonna work on her sleeve next. So I mixed a dark, medium, and light shade of like bluish periwinkle. I used a bunch of different colors for this, so I really couldn't tell you exactly how I made it, but it was a combination of a bunch of things. So since the last time I filmed, I mixed this color and I also mixed this color. Now the purplish one was sort of meant to blend out between the blues and the reds, which will be more here later. And then the super dark red was meant to act as a blending tool between the darkest red and the black. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but I'm getting a little bit bored of doing all of these different shades of like tan and red. So I think I'm gonna move on to the grass because that takes up a pretty big part of the canvas and I just want to see how it'll look. And here are the colors colors I ended up with from darkest to lightest. I'm gonna be filling in this area here. Once again, I wish I could tell you how I mixed all of these, but it was truly so random. I used this, also brown, and probably more, but I honestly don't remember. My next color is going to be this yellowish goldish. I have 2 empty containers here, which I'm eventually going to fill in with a medium and light yellow, but I'm going to work on this part of the painting next. Here's the more medium yellow, which is also more of an orangish tone, and I looked closer and realized there's also a greenish yellow in there, so I'm going to add both of these two. Here's a progress update so far. I kind of changed my mind on the yellow. I just mixed the lightest one, so I'm going to be adding these two at the same time just so that I don't accidentally fill in one with the other, because this is a little bit complicated. Alright, it's the next day and my goal for today is to finish the first coat. I have all the general ideas laid out. I'm just going back in and filling in all the little pixels that I've missed or slightly miscounted because I was lazy. This part is a little bit tedious, but once it's done, then the hard part is over. And finally, here's the first coat done. I think of this very much as a rough draft because there are a lot of colors I need to adjust a little bit, but I have everything laid out with where I need to put it, so once this is dry, I can start on the second coat. Okay, I let the first coat completely dry overnight. It definitely didn't need that long, but I just wanted to be on the safe side, so now I'm going to start on the second coat of paint. The colors are mostly going to stay the same. I'm just going to make everything more opaque and clean up the lines, and I'm going to start with the grass area. Here you can really see a big difference between this, which has the second coat, and this, which does not. The paint is clearly so much thicker. So now I just have to go around and fill in everything else. I'm not really changing the colors any, just, as I said, adding another coat. As you can see, I finished the reds, so I'm moving on to the orange and yellows. I have made a lot of progress today. I'm almost done with the second coat. I didn't record it, but I did like the black in the background and then also another coat on the border. So I think all I need to do tomorrow is the sleeve area and then the pig and then like a few other little details, and then the second coat will be done. Okay, it's the next day, so here's a little bit of an update. I got through all of these containers of paint doing the second coat, which means I only have a few colors left, but I have to custom mix all of them. So I ran out of containers the first time around, so I just made them on plates, but you know, it dries out. So I just have a few colors on the sleeves and maybe a few colors in here. All right, so I've moved on to blending, which in my opinion is like the most important part of the painting process and what really brings it to life. So essentially what I'm doing right now is taking this orange and this lighter red and mixing them together in even parts to get this red, and then I'm using that to blend everything out, pixelate it out, and then just, yeah, it just makes it look better. I don't know how else to describe it. So after a bunch of blending both off and on camera, here you can see the difference. I feel like everything just looks a lot more like a gradient, if that makes sense. I still need to do the yellows and I still need to do the greens, but we're making pretty good progress elsewhere. I think I'm nearing the point of insanity. And by that I mean this is taking so much longer than all of my other ones. And I think it's because like there's just so many more pixels. Like this one's 64 by 64 and like the biggest one that I've done prior to this was 32 by 32. I spent 5 or 6 hours straight yesterday just working on the second coat, and I think I'm on hour 4 for today. Don't want to sound like I'm complaining because I know that I'm doing this to myself, but I am really excited to finish this series and make a bunch of original art and try out some stuff that's not pixel art. Oh, my knees. Every time I move, everything pops. And finally, I think it's done. Sorry, I was terrible at recording the last hour or so. But once it is completely dry, I'll show you in natural light tomorrow. And here is the finished painting the next day. It's completely done, completely dry, and we got some natural light going. I do have to be careful what angle I hold it at though, because the glare is kind of awful. But I really like this painting. I think I mentioned this earlier in the video. This was the second time that I've ever made this one, and I definitely think it turned out better than the first, so that's a plus. And it's gonna look super awesome on my shelf. I am still so proud of myself for making this thing. But here is a close-up shot where you can see all of the details and the many blending colors I used. But like most Minecraft paintings, I feel like it looks better from a bit further back. If you would like to see a better quality image of the painting that I just finished, or if you want to see any of my other art, then check out my TikTok and my Instagram because I have tons of pictures and videos on there. Also, as I'm recording this, I decided to try out Pinterest for the first time, so if you want to give me a follow on there, that'd be cool too. I'll have that linked in the description as well. But I think that just about concludes this video, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I can't believe there's only 2 videos left in this series. That's really exciting. But I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye!